All right, guys, welcome back to the Mesh. Today's episode is the bonus episode. As you guys know, every episode I don't know if you guys picked it up yet, but every series I have is an episode there's a bonus episode at the end. So it's not actually six in a series, it's always gonna be seven. Keep that in mind. And today's my bonus episode is with Don Owens. Don Owens, can you please say hi to the Mesh?
Hey, Mesh, good to see you and all of you today.
Oh,
Visit
it's
with
good
you.
to have you here too. It's good to have you here too, Mr. Owens. Mr. Owens has this particular job that just fits, particular life that just fits so perfectly with this series, and it's great. It's just gonna be great to have him on here and to share his insight and just to share his story because it's not only just gonna help me out, it's just gonna help you guys out. So, Mr. Owens, will you please like to tell us your story and then what you do, please?
Well, certainly, I'm honored to be a part of the Mesh today, and I'm so blessed in many ways. I actually am a Mary Hardin Baylor College graduate from the
Okay.
College of Business, and I've really started out thinking I was going to be a golf professional. I worked at a golf course for about 8 years. I was a couple of months away from getting my PGA Class A card to work at a golf club. And all of a sudden, I thought, this is like being a diabetic at a candy store. I love golf, but on my day off, do I want to come back to the golf course? I love the history of the game, what it teaches you,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. So an opportunity came up. So I started my career after 8 years working at golf courses. I just graduated from Mary Hardin Baylor as
Mhm.
executive director of the Belton Chamber of Commerce. So I
Wow.
did that for 3 years. And the university actually came to me at the chamber and says, we would like you to come to university and be assistant vice president for college advancement, director of marketing, public relations, and men's golf coach.
Mm.
So after 3 years at the chamber, I came back
That was
to
a
Mary Hardin Baylor and did
That
that.
was a lot of titles. Like, wait, so that was just the titles they wanted to give
Well,
you, all
in
the
those
job?
days, you did a lot of jobs. You
I was
had a lot
like,
of jobs
wait, they
under
just
one
told you.
title.
That's amazing. My bad. Continue. I was just wait. So that's all they told him right there that he's gonna do. And from oh my god, I say my
And
bad.
then
Continue. I
after
was just like,
that, I decided I'd like to expand my career a little bit. So I went to a local bank and said, y'all need to
mhm,
develop a business development and marketing officer position. And they laughed at me and said, no, we don't need that. And then 2 weeks later, they called and said, hey, we've rethought about that. We're expanding, we're adding some services. Would you still like to do that? So I
mhm,
went to work as assistant vice president for community marketing and did that for several years. And then I became city president. So I was in
mhm,
banking 20 years.
mm,
And then our bank sold to a larger organization. So then I went to work for LL Sam's Church Furniture Manufacturing Company. I was division director. So I traveled the United States recruiting salespeople as well as quality products and getting church furniture, pews, seating delivered all over the country. And then this position at the university came open. And I say, I'd like to get back to the university, get back to Belton. So I've been here a little over 24 years in this role.
that is like I just want to go back and I feel like y'all should go just take a look at his LinkedIn because I will go take a look at the LinkedIn just to see everything you just list and just to see the time frame of everything. And then you just ended up with 24 years of being here after having this whole life. It's just like, wow, that's really cool to me. That is just you got so much done. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, so like you said, did you just work at UMHB or did you attend UMHB ever?
I went to Temple College and got an associate's degree. And I was going to
Okay.
transfer to the University of Texas and major in journalism. And circumstances changed that it was better for me to stay in Central Texas. So I came to Mary Hardin Baylor, and I was I wasn't the first male to graduate, but I was one of the first men to be able to walk across the stage and get your diploma in those days. I was a commuter. Obviously, I was a commuter.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so the girls' population at UMHB is still pretty big. You knew my dad when he went. Okay, so guys, we're about to enter into our hot seat Q&A. Okay, so as you guys know, Don's position at UMHB right now is to help students find careers and to help them set when they feel lost he sets them on the right path, or he helps them. Like you also help build resumes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We think career planning for students is a 4-year process. It's
Mm-hmm.
something you don't wait till your last semester, your senior year, and say,
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Dad just reminded me I'm not moving home when I get my diploma, so I guess I've got to get a job and
Yeah.
use this degree for something." So we think there's a little piece you do every year, and part of that is working on a resume, looking at it every semester. Maybe
Yeah.
start looking at job titles or companies you're interested in and see what the credentials are. And if you don't have those credentials, find a way to get those. So when you start applying for internships and jobs, you're as competitive as anybody at any university around the world.
Wow, that is awesome. Okay, with that being said, let's ask our first question in the hot seat. Within the hot seat, what's the worst career advice you've ever heard someone give?
I think the worst is a student or someone feeling like I'm supposed to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
I know we have students that come in that are maybe decided on their major as freshmen, and then we have some of the students that say they're undecided. I don't like the word undecided.
Yeah.
I think even those like yourself, those that are pretty much decided on their career path and their major, and those that are undeclared, I think we're all deciding. So I
Hmm.
think the biggest advice is don't be overwhelmed. Don't feel like I've got to know exactly where I'm going to be in 4 years, who I'm going to work for. God has a plan, and certainly He's going to reveal that as you're proactive in applying yourself. So, and your first job is not going to be your last job.
Mm. Oh, okay, that's real. I like that. You proving that. You proving that. That's awesome right there. Well, I actually had a similar talk with one of my a kid that I'm helping out here, and he's just like he's already has this thing where he wants to do this, but he's not sure. He wants to do this, but he's not sure. I'm like, right now, just stick to this, what you know right now, and I promise you in a year or two, you'll figure out exactly which path you want to take. But right now, don't fill up your plate with a bunch of different things. Just because he's a business major, I'm like, just do business, and then at some point, you gotta figure out, okay, I want to do business entrepreneurship. I want to do business computer information system, and it's just he has a lot of talents. I'm like, just wait. I promise you, you're gonna find something you want to direct it at. Right now, just don't put yourself in this bubble. I'm just
That's
giving
right.
you
Don't
something I've
restrict
learned.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Be open.
Okay, be open. You heard that from him, guys. Okay, next one. You've been director of career services since 2001. Wow. My brother was born that year. This is insane. What's changed more? Resumes or students?
Well, that's a big question, and I think there's a similarity to both
Hmm.
in a lot of ways, but I guess I would say resumes first. Certainly back then, resumes were very important in the initial connecting with a company and introducing yourself. Usually, the
Yeah.
last heading in a resume was always references and a list of references. Imagine, Wilson, you're going to hire someone to build your dream house, and you
Yeah.
have 3,000 people apply, and you're looking at those. And about that 80th resume, they're going to start all looking alike. So it's very important now that you have a one-page resume and you have key things on there that are descriptors of things that you have done that somewhat are transferable to the position you're applying for. For example, if the job requires you to be provide communication activities, maybe lead tours, do presentations. So you list under skills communications, technical, Adobe, Outlook, PowerPoint, things like that. Those are great, but don't you realize everybody else that's applying for that job have those same things listed? Where the student's going to stand out is under either have a heading that says communication experience or under their internships. For example, say the job requires you to be a good communicator. So say, yes, I'm a great communicator. By that, I mean recently I researched, I wrote, and presented a 20-minute PowerPoint presentation on sportsmanship for 100 members of FCA. So, did you see what I did? I gave steps of what I did to do a communication activity. You can't make that up if you haven't done it. So you've got to be very, very specific. You don't have to have a quantitative number for everything. With artificial intelligence right now, employers are going crazy because they're getting documents and they say, now, did the student write this or did artificial intelligence write this document? So
Yeah.
what's going to happen? You're not going to see in some time, not long, you're probably going to see instead of submitting a physical kind of document resume, you're going to do a video where they're
Mhm.
going to give you 5 questions. And in that video, you've got to give experiences or examples of how you've done those sorts of things. And they're trying to be sure you have the what for to do the requirements for the job.
Wow. So, like, that's awesome because the jobs are also changing with the times, and the resumes are also changing with the times. That's
That's
insane. It
right.
goes from
You've got to
paper
keep,
to video.
that's right. That's
Wow.
right.
That's crazy because now you gotta know about AI, you gotta know what the company is thinking, and then you gotta be able to articulate what you have done in a way that, okay, that's cool, that's dope. Now, hey, that's advice right there, y'all. Take that. That's advice.
Well,
That's
and
awesome.
part of that right now, are you familiar, Wilson, with what ATS stands for in applications for if you upload your application online? Do you know what ATS stands for?
ATS? That sounds familiar.
ATS ATS stands for application tracking systems. So
Uh-huh.
say you say, I'd like to apply for a job with Nike. Well, don't you know there's probably 3,500 more people applying for jobs at Nike also? So what's happening in the resume piece, a human person is not looking at your
Yeah.
resume initially. ATS is an artificial intelligence software a company will buy and customize it to a job title, a job ID, and the job description. So it'll scan your application form and your resume. And every time you have a particular prerequisite, say you've got to have a business degree, have to
Yeah.
have a business, you get a checkpoint. So every time you've got something in there on the job description, you get points. And at the end of the scan, the more points you have, you're either going to fall into exceed minimum qualifications, meet minimum qualifications, do not meet minimum qualifications. So you want to fall in those first two. Then from there, a real HR person will look at it and sort them again, and then send those applications to the decision maker for them to tell HR who to invite for an interview. So it is a word game. And again, whoever can be sure they showcase credentials that fits that job will get the invitation for a interview. A lot of people are capable. What I find about us, we're not very good about bragging on ourselves, or we don't
Mhm.
know what is important. I dare say I can have a student come in and they'll have some great things, but as I look at their resume, I'll say, well, I see you're a marketing major, but I don't see any marketing function. Well, I did publicity and marketing at Pine Cove last summer, but I didn't think that counted. What? You need to show that. Those are the things you're looking for, whether they're formal internships or they're paid or unpaid. I just think a lot of our students are underselling themselves on things that they have, but they didn't realize that were important.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's pretty much why your position exists right there. Is because students really don't know how to brag about themselves, really don't know what to find out about themselves and what's to.
I don't mean embellish, but
Yeah.
I dare say there's some credentials you have that you may not think about would be important for your resume.
Wow. I'm gonna have to have a meeting with you because I need to start actually creating all of that. That's awesome right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
do a meeting. I won't waterboard you or anything, but I'll pull things out of you that you say, "Oh, I didn't think about that," or "I didn't think that was important." We really like to help students evaluate their resume. I'm the very first to say there's not only one way to write a resume. You can talk to 20 people. I may say, do it this way. Miss Harper may say, do it this way.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not
Miss
at
Harper.
odds at each other, but it's just kind of like you probably drive a shiny sports car. I drive an old dirty Jeep. They're both
Mm.
vehicles to get us to work or to school. That resume is
Mm.
that vehicle to introduce us that we're one of the best candidates. You better invite me for an interview or you're going to lose the best one. What I fear is students don't have the right stuff and they're overlooked for great jobs that they're just as capable and qualified as anybody else.
Wow. That's real right there. I like that. That's awesome. Okay, we're gonna dive into that later. Okay, so this following question is okay, so you've been in banking, PR, recruiting, and community boards and golf coach? Like, did you ever say no to anything? Or are you just like, okay, I got it to everything?
Well, of course, I have said no. One thing, if you met, Dr. Britt, you never say no to Dr. Britt.
Mm-mm.
I think that's one thing I do remember. I said no. She wanted me to do a presentation for the Alliance Leadership Retreat. And
Yeah.
I just felt like there were other people more qualified, Dr. Green, Miss Harper. And so she came to me later and said, listen, I prayed over you. I thought, boy, if you prayed over me, I need to accept this. That's really the only no that I probably really said to recently. I've always tried to have a servanthood approach, and
Yeah,
if someone approaches me, it's not that I want to build up these things that I've done, but if they are value that I might have something to contribute, I try to do that. But you have to manage
yeah.
your time wisely and don't get overcommitted. And if you accept something, do it the best that you can.
Wow, that's awesome right there, and I can agree to it. It's hard to say no to Dr. Brick. It's really hard to say no to Dr. Because I remember I was quick. I was like, when I started this podcast and then I started all this other stuff I'm doing right now, I was like, oh, I can't work at OKD and do all this podcast at the same time. So I like, okay, so this podcast is gonna help with my career and where I want to be in life. So I had to like prioritize, and I had to send her this very formal letter. But yeah, she was very supportive. She was like, and I'm still involved in OKD. I'm helping him out with a lot of stuff right now. So I still have my foot in there, and it's a great thing. Like you're right, you gotta be able to like, like what's the word for it? Corporate. I have a really bad word. It's like or pen, I'm not even gonna try to say, but like you gotta be able to like section out your time to what you do. Don't overdo anything. And it's just something I had to learn this year. Is like I have a lot of time when I wake up early. I can get a lot of stuff.
Compartmentalize, maybe. Yeah.
Yes, there it is. That's the word. It's just I'm learning that. I didn't know I was so good at it until I started practicing and practicing more. It's like I can get a lot done when I wake up this time and I have time to do this. I have time to go to OKD and I have time and I still have time to do everything I want. But yeah, it is you can burn out yourself and it is a good thing to learn to slow down and only do what you can. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Okay. Next one is what's the wildest student career ask you've ever gotten? The wildest question you've ever like gotten from a student.
I saw that and I've thought a little bit about that. And certainly, I think I've had students say, is there a shortcut? Is there a way I can become president of the company the day I apply for the position and get a
Mm,
company car and all that stuff? I don't think there's very many shortcuts. I think
mm,
you've got to build your skills and your credentials, show that you bring value, and have an array of different skills. I know we laugh a little bit. I've had maybe five. Let's see, Mary Hardin Baylor, the Chamber, the golf course, UMHB, LLC. So I've had five jobs. Now, not counting when I was 13, I sold Dallas Morning News door to door, but not counting that, in my over 40 years of employment, I've had five different jobs. So you might say, boy, he can't keep a job, but I've grown. Every job I've had a promotion somewhat. And I look at every job, Wilson, and every job I feel like God was preparing me that I built something from every job that helped me do that next job even better. So that's what's going to
mm.
happen. So certainly be open, be proactive, look for opportunities for advancement, but it's not going to happen first day, I don't think. You've got to earn, what's the old saying? You got to pay your dues or you've got to earn your stripes or something like that.
Yeah. You got to earn your stripes. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome right there. It's like you build this resume. Like even when you had those jobs, you kept building your resume, so you can help kids out. And it's like this whole everything led to something. You've done it all. You've done it all. Now you're just setting kids to follow a path. Wow, it's like you learn something at every point. That's
Yeah.
dope. That's really awesome right there. That's really awesome. Wow, I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life with that. Like, what am I gonna do next? Because I know this is not all gonna be my life. Like, what am I gonna do next? But we'll
And
figure
you're
that
Wilson,
out.
you're not. None of us are. I mean, even at this point, God's got things planned for us. We're not supposed to know exactly, but we can't sit on our hands and do nothing. We might not all have a burning bush experience, but everything you do will show and bring opportunities. Certainly be proactive in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, this last one on the hot seat is you've won awards for community leadership. What moment hit you personally the hardest, good or bad?
That's a great question. There's a couple of things that come to mind as far as good. As far as feeling that we're contributing, a lot of we feel like career service is the best kept secret on campus. Shame on me for not doing a better job of marketing it over the years. But I think the most rewarding thing that I get is when I get a call from a recent graduate or a student that we've helped them with their resume and say, "Hi, Mr. Owens, I got that job that I applied for, and thank you for your help." And I usually say, "No, no, 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 you had the right stuff. We maybe just gave you some suggestions." So
Yeah.
just to hear that a student has those successes that maybe we contribute to a little bit, that's better than having a bonus once a month in my
Yeah.
paycheck. And I think on the other end, as far as the saddest or the hardest, is when I've worked with a student, and I have this often, not often, but occasionally over the years, and I feel like I've just not helped that student at all or given them any assistance. We're a career development center, so a lot of places this is considered the placement office that we get students a job. That's only a small part, even though it's an important part. We feel like that career development piece in helping you develop your credentials, getting confidence in interviewing, how to do job searches, prove your professionalism and things like that. Those are, you have to have that before you're going to be recognized. In the Career Center, we have a saying, start early, be prepared, and get noticed. And so if you do all of that, you will get noticed and recognized. But the other part of it is showcasing that in the interview and on the resume to be sure that you're showing that you have what that employer's looking for.
Wow. That's awesome. Whew, I have a few more extra questions at the back. But I'm gonna wait till I get through everything. Okay, so this next segment we're gonna enter to is called the light game, Don. This one is called Career Edition. All you gotta do is this or that to whatever I say. Okay, this or that. What's the other word for that? No, you figure it out. Okay, the first one I have is 9 to 5 or gig work.
Wow, I don't know that I know the definition of that for sure, what you're looking for. I would think gig work.
Gig work. Okay. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about you might say gig work because that's more appealing to me than a 9 to 5. I don't know there's the entrepreneurship side of me, but gig work seems way more appealing to me. LinkedIn or a handshake?
Equal.
Equal. Why is that?
They both are powerful tools. I think a
There you
lot of
go.
students underestimate what Handshake offers. Handshake is there for undergraduates, even after you graduate. And we were just looking at our annual report. We approved over 110,000 new jobs in Handshake for June 1st, 2024 till May 30th, 2025. So
Whoa.
students think maybe, oh, well, you just use Handshake for your work study job or a
Yeah.
campus job. It's a much bigger tool than that. It's for
Mhm.
internships, it's for entry level jobs when you graduate. So you go in there, build your profile, have a good headshot, have something in every field. Be sure your settings are set where employers can look at your profile. And then companies we approve can go in there and say, okay, we're looking for a communications major that's a junior at Mary Hardin Baylor. So they can go in there if you've got your settings, an employee can look at your profile and then send you a message in your handshake say, hey, we've just seen your credentials. We actually have some internships we would like to talk to you about. You can either follow up, you can delete it, you can say, well, thanks, I'd like to learn more about that. A lot of our students over the years have actually Ben Siegler, William Powell, just two I think of. They never left their apartment their senior year. They got these hits from 10 or 12 Fortune 100 companies that saw their credentials and invited them for an interview. And Vince ended up going to work for one of the international companies, started out in San Antonio. He wanted to move to Boston. He got a promotion, so he got to move to Boston. Reed went to work for Ernst & Young as an analysis risk analyst in San Antonio. They never left their apartment initially. Those companies found them. What
Yeah.
happens is, let me share one quick thing. Handshake, what it is, say Samsung and
Mhm.
Taylor decides they need some graduates for engineering or computer science. So they'll get a map and they'll say Taylor, Texas, 75 miles north and south, east and west of Taylor. What universities are there that have these degrees? So they'll probably find Texas State, Sat Edge, UT, Houston Tillotson, Southwestern, Mary Hardin Baylor, and Baylor. So they'll go to Handshake, they'll put their stuff in and they'll click all the colleges. They want that to post in their website on their
Mhm.
Handshake account at UMHB. So once it's in there, they don't have to go to every college to do that. They just pick it and pick all the colleges in one side, which is Handshake. Now, just because a company asks to be listed and approved to post jobs or come to our job fairs or conduct virtual events in the system we vet them. So just because they ask to post on our system, they're not automatically accepted. We vet them and be sure they're real going concerns. So don't
Oh,
underestimate what Handshake will offer. LinkedIn is going to be a big deal and it will continue to be a big deal as employers will use that as well. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm partial, but you can't separate them, I don't think.
No, you can't. That's awesome. Cause I remember freshman year when you said the thing about handshake, I only think only people think it's about work studies. I saw a lot of work studies in there, but I also kept getting invites from other companies around the area. I'm like, okay, this is not a UMHB thing, so there must be other people involved in it. And that was my
Exactly.
freshman year. So that was the last time I've been on there,
Exactly.
but that was the
I
same.
think that's just kind of one of the maybe misunderstood things that we need to get the word out better about.
Yeah, yeah, because I was like, wait, this is not for just work studies? Because I'm like, because even for a year or two after that, when I still had the ad, I just kept getting bored. I'm like, okay, so there's other jobs out there that want me and stuff like that. And
Well,
then
for
it's a
example,
big two.
before Handshake, Apple Computer never posted anything in our old Crew Connection job board. They would not probably come to campus because we don't have maybe that major or that degree plan, but they will post it in Handshake. So there's a lot of opportunities now that we've never been able to offer our students before.
Oh yeah, that's insane. Y'all need to check it out. That's awesome. Okay, next one. Job you love or job that pays more?
Well, there's an old saying out there, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day of your life.
Mm,
And I say this with all due respect. I've been very fortunate. I left money on the table when I came to this position 24 and a half years ago. But I love what I do. I may be doing a lousy job, but I can't get to work. I can't wait to get to work every day. You know, there used to be when you go through these seasons, there used to be kind of a syndrome called the imposter syndrome. So every once in a while, I think, gosh, I'm an imposter because, but I feel like because of the jobs I've had and what God has provided me in awareness and skills and gifts, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And pay is important, but it's not the only
hmm
thing.
That is true. Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for saying that. Cause like I'm the same thing. I love what I do, and it feels great. You know, I might not getting paid right now, but it's just what I'm doing right now. I wake up every day and I'm excited to do it, and I
Well,
know
and
it's
I
gonna
think,
lead somewhere.
yeah, and I think pay takes care of itself.
Yeah, it will. No, you're right there. Thank you for that. This last two ones right here: work from home or office energy.
I'm old fashioned. I'm old school. I think office energy, you just can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
I know my son works for a major company and he works from home. And I say, man, you need to get into the shop every once in a while so they know who you are, make connections. The networking piece, certainly is very important.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, continue. Actually, following that one, leading up that one that you said networking is. This last one is coffee networking or Zoom networking.
Coffee networking. Now, I have a situation. One of our vendors that provides our candid career videos, we actually have this is a new concept. We actually have a coffee Zoom session next Tuesday. And I thought, well, how can we do that? Well, he sends me a gift card for Starbucks, and I'm supposed to get my coffee that they're providing for the Zoom setting. So you kind of
Mhm.
got the best of both worlds. Again, I believe the in person is great, but certainly technology is good. Just so you feel like you're engaging with that
Yeah.
person by Zoom or virtual, they can be just as effective. But I'm old school. I like the direct coffee networking.
Wow. That's awesome. It is a little bit of both worlds. That's awesome. That works. That works perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay. This next segment we're about to enter to is our deep cut questions. It's just three questions and then we're gonna wrap up. Okay. First one. You serve alumni boards, city commissions, and career orgs. What's the thread tying it all together?
Well, things with that. Obviously, I'm not very sure what I think servanthood
Mm-hmm.
is very important. Journalism,
Mm.
communication, and can do, and being observant.
Wow, that's awesome. You know what? I know a few people at this school who needs to hear exactly what you just said right there. Thank you for saying that. Okay. How do you balance being a professional connector with your own growth?
Certainly, you always have to continue to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I know we have a smaller budget than maybe Baylor University. We
hmm
may have a smaller staff, than the University of Texas. We're a centralized career center, so we serve all the colleges and programs. Bigger schools, they have a career center for every college. There's a career center for the College of Engineering. There's
Yeah.
a center, but here we serve all of those. And I think it's just being resourceful. I try to do a lot of webinars. We don't do as many. We kind of cut some of our travel budget. But with that said, if you were to walk into Baylor University Career Center, I would hope that you're going to see the majority of the same resources and services that they offer that your UMHB Career Center offers as well. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, stay current, pick and choose those products or those resources or those methods that will serve you best and serve your colleagues and your organization the best way possible. So just stay current. Not everything you should just grab everything off the shelf because that may not be the best for your situation.
Yeah. That's real right there. Thank you for that. Okay, so to end the deep cuts segment is what's one thing you hope students remember about you 20 years from now? I know they will remember you, but what's one thing you want them to always keep in mind?
Well, that the Career Center and those of us that work here are always their biggest fan, that we're always an advocate for them being sure that they're recognized the great things they have to offer and that
Yeah.
we're encouragers. I'm dare to say there's a lot of students we may not have provided any resources or help to them. A lot of students, they've got it and they don't need us. Some need us, they don't know it. But again, I think the biggest thing that the Career Center did try to offer state of the art, current, useful information that would help them expand their career development. And we just plead with students to consider letting career services being one of their many career development network or part of their entourage.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, I was
And
like, I
even
have to
after
wait to
they
this.
graduate, we're here to serve you
Yeah,
after you graduate, not just as an undergraduate.
that's awesome. Okay, I have questions I want to ask you, but I'm gonna wait till we're done. Okay, so to wrap up here, Don, can you please plug in career services in any organizations you want to highlight?
Well, certainly we have about 17 different career ready resources. Most of them are accessible on the Career Services webpage.
Yeah,
I think it's important that students do a career assessment their freshman year and maybe again the middle of their or the start of their junior year. And you can go to Focus 2 on Career Services website and do that. You'll get the results. We think you do the personality assessment, the interest assessment, the values and skills, and then set an appointment with us to go over it. It's going to tell them a lot of things. It may say some occupations that you say, oh boy, this is the biggest waste of time. This was no help. We want to go over the results with the student because if the result says you are to be a knife thrower in a carnival, I can tell
yeah,
you when the carnival recruiter will be on campus and where you can buy your knives. I'm kind of being silly, but
yeah,
what it does, it's going to throw a lot of work sectors out there that will somewhat relate to what you're interested in, or it'll show you something. I didn't even know that was a job. I didn't know there was a job such as career coaching. Boy, if I'd known about it, I'd gotten here sooner. But with that
mm,
said, we don't know what we don't know. So the purpose of that is just expose some areas, say, well, no, I wouldn't do that. Or, oh, what even is that? I don't even know what that is. As I say, it's just there to help you validate some things and add to your career strategy and exploring what you should do in your life's work. I think the other thing is just view the different resources that we have. Set an appointment. If you would come in and let me buy you a Dr. Pepper or a Coke or a Sprite or bottled water, or talk about the weather, or how bad are we going to beat Hardin Simmons this year, or just, hey, what are some other things I could do with my job? We have a thing in the Career Center called the Career Challenge. So if you can look at our ONET, which is called What Can I Do with This Major or Jobs for This Major, for your major, and it shows the different things, specializations for your major, who the employer types. And if you can look at that and you say, I knew everything on there I could do with my major, I've got to buy you a cold drink or Starbucks once a week the rest of the semester. But if you look on there and say, I didn't know I could do that with my job as well, you've got to buy me a Starbucks iced coffee once a month. And go ahead and write this down. I want iced coffee, no sugar,
all right, iced coffee, no
and half and
sugar.
half,
Coffee, no sugar,
half and half.
half and half, half and half. All right, got it round, half and half. That's awesome right there. with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for all of your advice and all your wisdom. And guys, remember, he just pretty much mentioned this that other colleges have this too. So if you're not going to UMHB, your college have these tools to help you find your place in life. So please don't be stubborn and act like you know everybody, because I've been down that road and you don't know everything. So please go ask your career services at your school, or if you're at UMHB, go ask Don and Miss Harper. They will help you. Okay. With that being said, Don, would you like to say bye to the mesh?
Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and thank you for your time. And there's no silly question. Come by and say hello. And if we don't know, we'll try to help you find that resource if we're not aware of it. So thank you, and y'all have a great weekend.
Thank y'all. There
Thank
we
you.
go.